Dr. Livingston, I presume. Hello, I'm David DeCosmo. We found him. You can find him too on this edition of Travel Time as we check out Scotland. We found this statue to Dr. David Livingston on Cathedral Square here in Glasgow, Scotland. It commemorates the Scottish-born doctor, missionary, and explorer. It stands quite near Glasgow Cathedral, built before the Reformation from the late 12th century. It's an excellent example of Scottish Gothic architecture. It's also one of the few Scottish medieval churches still in use today. Perhaps we can listen as the choir quartet rehearses. Next, we visit the waters of Loch Lomond, a freshwater loch often considered the boundary between the lowlands of central Scotland and the Highlands. It is perhaps better known to many because of a traditional Scottish folk song. In tradition, the song tells the story of two Scottish prisoners, one sentenced to die, the other to go free. The man who will die tells his friend, "I'll take the low road," meaning death, getting him directly back to Scotland. But in death he will never see his true love again. The other will go free, thus taking the high road back to Scotland. As the name implies, the Scottish Highlands are dominated by mountain ranges. The area is only sparsely populated, although some of the scenery may be recognizable. It's used widely in movies such as Braveheart, Dog Soldier, and Rob Roy. The Highlands have also become a training ground for commandos. A statue honoring the original British Commandos force of World War II is located here. It's very near the original training headquarters. Most everyone has heard of Loch Ness, not necessarily because it's the biggest loch in Scotland. It's known more because of a creature that may or may not exist beneath its deep, deep waters. The Loch Ness Monster. Tour boats here are filled all the time. People watch to see what they might be able to see, and perhaps check sonar and radar images which are on most of the tour boats. People don't look for the scenery here so much as their eyes look over the water. And who knows, if you look hard enough, maybe you just may see something strange. What better stop after Loch Ness than a typical Scottish distillery, where we learn about the production of blended Scotch whiskey.
Okay, so what you're about to taste is this Blair Athol 12-year-old single malt whiskey. Malt whiskey, remember, made using only malted barley, single when it's bottled as the product of one distillery, not mixed with anything from anywhere else. We can bottle Scotch whiskey at any strength we like, provided it's at least 40% alcohol. This particular bottling is 43%, and we do have downstairs on the shelves a cask strength bottling. No age statement on it, but I'm assured it's just a wee bit older than this one, maybe 14 or 15 years old. Let me make it quite clear, you don't just down it. You're not sharing the stage with John Wayne in a Western.
How funny.
You take your time over it, relish it. It's like all the best things in life. It's better taken at a leisured pace and enjoyed. Now, the ideal temperature of a good whisky is body temperature. Don't ever add ice. Ice is a hangover from the days of Prohibition when they were selling rubbish in speakeasies. Ice, if you think of adding ice, think Titanic. It's a disaster about to happen. Chips and whiskey have one thing in common. They do not like ice. Get that picture in your head and you will never ever put ice in your whiskey again. It is the worst thing you can do to get the enjoyment out of the whiskey. Let it warm. Quite the opposite of what a lot of people think. So all those adverts that have got ice in them with pictures of whiskey, they're all wrong. They're going back to a previous generation. Oh, that's good. Now remember, don't rush this. Take your time over it, and having tried it, if you wish, you may add a wee drop of water. Note we have the ability to make it, if you like, a very wee drop, if you choose.
Our tour bus takes us by the Discovery, a three-masted British ship that made the first venture to the Antarctic. Next on to St. Andrews, one of the oldest golf courses in the world. The old course here, there are several, was established in 1552, and the Open here has seen such illustrious golf winners as Bobby Jones, Sammy Snead, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods. Very near St. Andrews Golf Course, this large beach, it was used in scenes from the movie Chariots of Fire. Our next stop, the city of Edinburgh. There are dozens of attractions in Edinburgh, including the Royal Palace, where the British royal family stays when visiting the country. The highlight of any visit is a walk to and through Edinburgh Castle, which stands on Castle Rock. There's been a castle here since the 12th century. It was a royal residence up until 1603, and by the 17th century was used primarily as a military barracks. Its Grand Hall still has all sorts of displays and is used to host arts and cultural events, such as this performance by representatives from Norway. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our visit to Scotland. I'm David DeCosmo. Join me again next time on Travel Time.